Cardinals. The family of a 21-year-old heart donor who died in 2016 ran into the recipient whose life he helped save. Members of the family tearfully took turns embracing the man and listening to his heartbeat. The sign in the background said it all. Just listen. The family says they're already planning their next outing together.
Oh, that's incredible.
It really is incredible. The young man lives on. That is our time for now. We thank you for watching. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, we're learning more about the men involved in a fatal crash in Columbia County yesterday, and we will bring you the very latest.
How a Rock County family battled the state of Wisconsin to keep child sex offenders from moving in next door, and where the offenders might end up now.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And we thank you for patiently staying with News 3 Now through some technical difficulties. We have new details regarding the officer-involved crash that killed 2 people yesterday on I-39 in Columbia County.
Police confirmed one of the 2 people in the car was suspected of beating and forcefully taking a woman in Schofield near Wausau on Sunday. Our Jamie Perez shares new details on what we know right now. Jamie?
So we just learned new details in the last hour, actually, who was in that car that led police on the high-speed chase. While Wisconsin State Patrol thought they were pursuing a car with a kidnapping suspect and the person who was kidnapped, it turned out there was actually somebody else in the car. These are the 2 men who died in that crash. Terrence Phillip Simmons, born in 1995, who was suspected of the kidnapping, and Terrence P. Simmons, born in 1994. Both of the men have extensive criminal records, mostly in Marathon County. Police say the Terrence, born in 1995, was the one suspected of beating and taking that woman on Sunday, and he was also her boyfriend. Investigators believe he also assaulted another woman who tried to intervene then. Police later found this woman at an undisclosed spot and interviewed her, where they learned that man was armed with a loaded handgun. The 2 led the police on a high-speed chase before crashing into a semi-trailer where they both died at the scene. Everest Metro Police Chief Clay Schultz says it's tragic that they both died during that crash, and they might never have the answers to some of their questions.
Is there a reason why they might have been heading that way?
We don't know that. I think the only people that knew where they were specifically going were the 2 in the vehicle, and we'll probably never know exactly where they're going.
Now, this is an ongoing investigation, but we are still working to gather additional details, and we will provide more information on this coming up tonight at 6.
Jamie, thanks.
Thank you, Jamie. A Camp Douglas man facing homicide charges. This is in connection with the death of an 18-year-old last year. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office says 37-year-old Mark Josette was arrested Monday, charged with homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle and homicide by operation of a vehicle. Officials say in January of last year, Josette was driving a Prius that crashed in Laval. Mackenzie Carpenter of Reedsburg was thrown from that vehicle and died at the scene. Over the last year, detectives developed probable cause that Josette was the driver at the time. The sheriff's office said he was under the influence of THC and meth while he was driving. And a $250,000 cash bond was set for the woman accused of setting a fire that killed Daniel Gilmartin in Montello. 42-year-old Frances Rittman is charged with 3 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide. The criminal complaint says investigators said Rittman admitted to starting the fire intentionally to kill both herself and Gilmartin, but after setting that fire, she changed her mind about killing herself and left. She's scheduled to be back in court in June.
A Janesville teacher arrested for a 4th offense OWI in February has resigned from his position. Dennis Brunner was taken into custody while running his car in his driveway. Documents obtained by News 3 Now from the school district of Janesville say the elementary school gym teacher was encouraged to resign. He would have otherwise been fired by the district.
A Rock County family says they feel like they've dodged a bullet after learning child sex offenders will not be placed next door.
The Footville family says they protested that possibility for weeks. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our Rock County bureau at the Janesville Gazette with how this all went down. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, Peter Turner first learned that the state of Wisconsin was attempting to place 2 child sexual predators near his home back in February, but he said a sheriff's deputy told him the fact he has 5 young kids living at home would most likely make sure that didn't happen. But weeks later, he found out that the state was still considering and moving forward with their plans. So he called state senators, representatives, and neighbors trying to fight against it. Eventually, he started a petition, and that's where he says he heard back that the plans were off. He says he can't imagine who would think it's a good idea to have 2 child sexual offenders next door.
Even putting them next to our house would be like a source of temptation for them. You know, it's not a good situation. Less than 500 feet away from, a family of 5 kids, where their bedrooms would be able to see our driveway with our kids riding their scooters back and forth. It's just like, doesn't seem like a good idea.
Now, these 2 sex offenders will still have to be placed, and I learned through research today that one of them is from the city of Beloit and the other originally from the city of Janesville, meaning they will be placed in Rock County. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Turner as well from a Rock County supervisor, what they have to say about the situation.
Adam Duxter in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
2 people in Janesville were arrested last night in connection with a drug investigation. Deputies say 47-year-old James Bjork and 45-year-old Stacy Femright Utterberg were taken into custody on multiple charges. The Rock County Sheriff's Office said deputies searched a home on County Road D in Rock Township yesterday morning, found numerous items associated with the one-pot method of manufacturing meth during that search, and the investigation is ongoing.
The teenager accused of escaping from the Rock County Sheriff's Department pleaded guilty to separate charges. In October, Quantrell Shortslow had previously been arrested on suspicion of second-degree sexual assault, strangulation, and battery. He was taken into custody and was briefly left unattended at the Sheriff's Department when he escaped through a second-story window. Janesville officers later found him and took him back into custody. Schwartzlow's 2 charges are both classified as Class H felonies. If convicted, he could face up to 6 years in prison for each charge.
A woman was arrested on a suspicion of operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated after driving into a utility pole. Madison police say it happened about 5:15 this morning on Whitney Way at Crabapple Lane near Toki Middle School. Police say the 33-year-old woman was arrested for her second offense OWI. Parents had to drop off Toki students at the Russet Road entrance while police continued their work at the crash scene.
State Democratic Representative Gordon Hintz has reintroduced a bill to get rid of the personal conviction waiver that allows parents to exclude their child from being vaccinated. The bill was reintroduced after the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirmed 704 individual cases of measles in 22 states since January 1st. Although Wisconsin has not yet seen a measles case this year, Hintz says this legislation is a proactive measure. Wisconsin allows people to also opt out of vaccinations for medical and religious reasons. Hintz is only looking at getting rid of the personal conviction waiver. He says 20 years ago, just 1% of children in Wisconsin opted out of getting vaccinated, but last year, 5.3% opted out.
You know, we're seeing trends heading in the wrong direction. They're probably going to continue to head in that direction, but we have an obligation, to close what really is a loophole that makes it so easy for people to opt out and risk the health and well-being of others.
Governor Tony Evers says he supports a bipartisan bill. The Wisconsin Medical Society, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin Public Health Association are among a list of health organizations supporting the legislation.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers this morning signs a bill into law that removes the term mental retardation from state agency rules and regulations. Governor Evers was surrounded by supporters of the measure, including Republican lawmakers, for this bill signing in the Capitol Rotunda. Maybe a small detail, but a big change to some families.
I think something that's a problem right now is people are constantly looking for ways to pick us apart. And we just need a reminder that we're in this together and we should embrace each other because of it.
That measure is the first signed by Governor Evers since taking office in January. Milwaukee Bucks take on the Boston Celtics. It's Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinal.
The Celtics currently lead the series 1-0. Our Melissa Kim is live at the Fiserv Forum ahead of the matchup. Melissa?
Hey guys, yeah, well, the Bucks come into tonight's Game 2 in a place they are really not that familiar with this season, down in the series against the Celtics. So you've got to admit that tonight's game is probably going to be a must-win for them, because after tonight, the series goes to Boston for Games 3 and 4. The Bucks have done pretty well, though, this season when it comes to overcoming adversity, only losing back-to-back games once during the regular season. That was in early March. So don't expect them to go down tonight without a fight.
We've done a good job all season long at focusing at the, what's next with the game ahead, and definitely from responding from losses and bouncing back. You're doing a fantastic job.
I don't care if I miss shot. I care if, you don't, I don't play hard enough. That's what I care about. We're going to go out there and play really hard. Even though we knock down shots or we miss shots, we're going to play hard.
Now here's a little fun tidbit and maybe a little bit of good luck for the Bucks. On this day, this very day today in 1971, the Bucks won their only NBA championship, finishing off a sweep of the Baltimore Bullets. Oscar Robertson scored 30 points. Lou Alcindor, he had 27 in the 118-106 win. And the very next day, that man changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So if there's anyone you want bringing you good luck today for Game 2, I think it's Team Kareem. Guys, back to you.
I got to get a win there at Fiserv Formula Line. Melissa, thank you very much. During the CrossFit Games, Madison hosts the fittest people in the world.
But when the competition is over and the contestants leave, we still have the fittest in one important category. Amanda Quintana has details of the national title that one of our own now holds. Amanda?
Yes, well, in the CrossFit community, anyone can try out to come to the games here in Madison. It's all online. You do timed workouts and you submit the videos going up against the strongest people all over the world. This year, Brandon Arndt came out on top in a special subcategory. It's pretty obvious Brandon Arndt is strong. Well, very obvious. But seeing him in a CrossFit gym, you wouldn't know. This man is the fittest nurse in America.
Knowing that I could be the fittest just with one category alone, as opposed to something where some guy could be training full time for this. Knowing that I'm the fittest nurse and still working a full, workload, it's just amazing to have that feeling.
The St. Mary's ER nurse has been training with CrossFit since 2014.
Just feels like a playground for adults.
And his patients usually say something about his muscles, but many can't believe his new title.
Finally, they come to the realization, like, yeah, this guy's got the muscles, he's got the physique for it, so.
Becoming the fittest nurse in America and the second in the world, as you'd guess, was not easy.
It is tiring working a 12-hour shift. I definitely don't work out after a shift. I work out before a shift. If anything, it energizes me. It gives those endorphins, that dopamine, quick spike before I go into work, so I'm feeling really good.
In a job where you're constantly on your feet, never knowing what trauma will come through the door.
So it's definitely a load on your body in order to kind of, bend, pick things up, pick people up.
He's confident his body can take it.
You're trying to push yourself to the limit. You're trying to finish it under the time cap, or you're trying to maybe beat the person next to you for bragging rights. So that's pushing you to go a little bit faster or not stop in some of these workouts, just to not give up. And that carries over into work life.
Even after being in the top 10 the last few years, he did not expect to be the fittest nurse in the U.S. this year, and he is also a CrossFit coach in Verona.
That is amazing and inspiring.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Amanda.
All right, we're getting ready to flip the calendar to May, but you'll have to wait a bit for some May sunshine. Your first alert weather now. Here's Gary.
Yeah, we still have clouds and showers in the forecast. And just a reminder, we have our NOAA weather radio promotion going on with Hy-Vee and Fleet Farm stores for limited time. We're selling NOAA weather radios, the kind that will alert you only when there's severe weather in your area. And tomorrow we're going to be having a severe weather programming event over at the Hy-Vee in Fitchburg. 2920 Fitch-Verona Road. That's on County Highway PD, just to the west of US 18-151. And we'll be programming radios from 5 until 7. You can purchase them right there. We'll program it for you, and you'll be ready to go after you leave the store. Now, as we look at high-resolution radar, you can see some scattered light showers over the western parts of our viewing area. There have been showers that moved through southeastern Wisconsin. Most of them missed Madison. Some of these had a little bit of lightning associated with them, but you can see the general northeasterly movement. So 2 batches of precipitation. Madison has been kind of right in the middle, but across the rest of the upper Midwest, most of the thunderstorm activities move through the Chicago area, but that's the northern extension of a large area of strong to severe thunderstorms, severe thunderstorm watches down by St. Louis, tornado watches from parts of Missouri back into the eastern portion of Oklahoma. So a lot of severe weather down to the south. We're getting into that season, but because of the clouds and the cool temperatures, that's limiting our severe weather potential. Severe weather outlook for the rest of today. There is an enhanced to moderate risk of severe weather back down toward Oklahoma City, a slight risk into parts of Illinois. Tomorrow, a marginal risk into the Chicago area, but again, that stays south of Wisconsin because our temperatures will be a little bit cooler. The rainfall amounts now looking more like in the half-inch range from now all the way through late in the day on Thursday when the rain should come to an end. There are flood watches down to the south across parts of Illinois and Iowa, so we're also missing the heaviest of the rain. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, they're getting one of those those showers there. You can definitely see it. The WISC sky cam looks like a little bit of light rain starting to fall here. And as we check out the live view from the Edgewater sky cam in downtown Madison, pretty gray scene. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature today only reached 44, the low 41, so the temperature has not moved very much, and it's not going to move very much for the rest of the evening. We're at 43 right now. Skies are mostly cloudy. Humidity is high, and we'll probably see some areas of fog later on tonight. Our forecast calls for mostly cloudy skies. Expect some areas of fog and some showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm and a spot or two down toward the Illinois state line. Temperatures about where they are now, around 43. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, not quite as cool with a high of 54, but we'll still see some showers or an isolated thunderstorm. On future track, you can see the scattering of showers and thunderstorms, not a continuous rain, but off and on really for about the next 36 hours or so. That takes us through tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we'll probably see another batch of showers and thunderstorms through Thursday morning. And then after that, things will start to wind down a little bit. And as we check out the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see once we get the sunshine back, temperatures will be back in the low 60s on Friday. Looks like upper 60s for Saturday and Sunday. Thunderstorm chance on Sunday. Temperatures mainly mid 60s next week with some off and on shower and thunderstorm chances. As we take a look at first alert traffic, some slowdowns right now on the Beltline. They're zooming the camera in. That's at Park Street. And you can see slow traffic in both directions, especially in the eastbound direction. Right now, delays start around Monona Drive and go back almost to Verona Road. Looks like an accident right around Park Street. 24 minutes on the eastbound Beltline, 20 minutes on the westbound Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your News 3 Now for Slur Traffic.
Thank you, Gary.
Calls for a military uprising in Venezuela have led to massive clashes in the streets.
Gunfire erupted as government forces clashed with supporters of opposition leader Juan Guaido. The unrest has been escalating since January, when Guaido declared himself the interim president. In a social media post, Guaido called on the military to join Operación Libertad, to an uprising to topple Nicolas Maduro's government. Guaido blames Maduro for the country's economic and humanitarian crisis. Maduro is putting some of the blame on the U.S., accusing the Trump administration of causing last month's massive power outage that plunged the country into darkness.
We want, as our principal objective, the peaceful transfer of power. But I will say again, as the president has said from the outset, and that Nicolas Maduro and those supporting him, particularly those who are not Venezuelan, should know, is all options are on the table.
President Trump tweeted he is monitoring the situation and said the U.S. stands with the people of Venezuela and their freedom.
Democratic leaders visited the White House to talk infrastructure with the president. They say they had a very productive meeting with President Trump. Democratic leaders say they reached an agreement with the president to spend $2 trillion on a variety of infrastructure projects.
Obviously, the roads and the bridges and the highways, obviously water, but also a big emphasis on broadband, that every American home, we believe, needs broadband, an emphasis on the power grid.
The first infrastructure projects really should be to secure our sovereign nation and give it borders that are real and that work.
The White House also described the meeting as, quote, excellent and productive, and it says Democratic leaders have also agreed to meet again in the future to talk about lowering prescription drug prices. Another check of your forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on tonight. Chaos in Venezuela after a U.S.-backed opposition leader calls for an uprising, how the White House is responding. Life and Debt, our new series on America's next financial crisis. And NASA's dress rehearsal to prevent disaster. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Maybe a little more rain tonight.
Yeah, right now Madison's kind of in between, just a very light sprinkle here, but on radar you can see showers over southeastern Wisconsin, or even a couple of thunderstorms there earlier, and some showers developing north and west of Madison. Fog might be an issue already, seeing visibilities down to less than 2 miles in some areas, especially over southwestern Wisconsin. These temperatures have not moved very much. They've been in the low 40s. I don't expect them to move much for the rest of the night. Tomorrow look for a high of 54 and 58 on Thursday with some shower and thunderstorm chances. But then after that, once we get a little more sunshine, those temperatures more in the mid to upper 60s beginning on Saturday and lasting through much of next week, although there'll still be some chances for rain there too.
Well, we certainly appreciate you staying with us for News 3 Now at 5. We'll be back in 30 minutes with more updates on News 3 Now at 6. And of course, the CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.